Part 2. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 11. Li Bai uttered 4 words carelessly, and these 4 words were like a bolt from the blue in the ears of the old Taoist. He could not help but grin his stiff face and said hesitantly, "Ha ha, little brother, you are really good at joking, you are so bad." "I'm not kidding." "Ouch, little brother, please stop teasing me, Zhentian Dragon Emperor, this is a great emperor, how can I possibly calculate it, even if it costs an imperial weapon, I can't calculate it." "You'd better hire someone else." The old Taoist Huangbao waved his hand vigorously and refused, not because he couldn't figure it out, but because once he figured it out, he would be enmity with the great emperor, and the line of cause and effect would be connected. You must know that the great emperor hates others counting on him the most. If Dragon Emperor Zhentian feels that he is the one to be reckoned with, there will only be one outcome, that is, death. After Li Bai heard this, he couldn't help but smile. This old man is still as greedy and afraid of death as ever. Why, with a majestic quasi-emperor level and a foot in the great emperor's divine calculation element, will he be afraid of the sky-shattering Dragon Emperor? Li Bai looked at the old Taoist and said calmly. The moment he heard this, the old Taoist's expression changed. He was exuding a monstrous aura, and his eyes were filled with viciousness and evil, as if he wanted to tear Li Bai to pieces. If it weren't for the imperial city prohibiting killing, he would have directly destroyed Li Bai. "Who are you?" the old Taoist in yellow robe asked extremely seriously. "I'm just an ordinary person." "Ha ha, Your Excellency, since you can see my identity, I must be of the same level." "In this case, why bother?" the old Taoist. "Besides, you also know that the Emperor's causal line is extremely terrifying." The old Taoist in yellow robe said softly. "Well, you can count on me." Then, Li Bai bent down and leaned against the ear of the old man in yellow robe, murmuring softly, "My name is Li Bai Yi." Boom! The next moment, the sky above the entire imperial city was covered with dark clouds, and divine thunder was rolling. Yes, it was another divine punishment from heaven, but the next moment, it seemed as if I saw Li Bai's eyes again, and then disappeared directly. So damn spineless. As for why, after Li Bai said his name, he would be punished by the gods. It is simple, because the 3 words Li Bai are taboos, the biggest taboo in all the worlds. As for the old Taoist Huangbao, when he first heard the 3 words, he was still a little confused and felt that they were familiar. But the moment the heavenly Dao divine punishment appeared, he immediately remembered a name and something. Taboo, you are the Emperor in white. The old man in yellow robe couldn't help but tremble all over his body. His pupils were dilated rapidly and he was sweating profusely. He was almost scared to pee. This kind of fear was a fear that penetrated the soul, as if he had fallen into an endless hell. As long as he had participated in the Emperor's fall war or witnessed it, there is no one who has not been afraid of Li Bai. You know, Li Bai is a taboo of heaven. What is a taboo of heaven? It means that even heaven is afraid of people. Such a supreme existence suddenly appears in front of his eyes. Who is not afraid? It would be nice if he didn't scare to death on the spot. "Recognize me?" Li Bai retreated to the old Taoist Huangbao and said with a smile. "Ah, shit." The next moment, the old man in yellow robe screamed. "Damn it, old man, you're going to die, you scared me to death." "Damn, are you crazy? What are you howling in broad daylight?" The next moment, the old Taoist in yellow robe knelt down and said respectfully and tremblingly. "God Xuanhuan, I have met you, sir, please forgive me." "Get up, it's okay." "Yes." When people around saw the old Taoist kneeling down, they all exclaimed and speculated. "Damn it, who is this young master who can make this old man kneel down?" Tisk, tisk, I didn't expect this old man to have such a day. How about it, can you forget it now? Li Bai said calmly. Sir, look at what you said, as long as it is your order, I will risk my life to figure it out. The old man in yellow robe started to calculate the position of Zhentian Dragon Emperor after finishing speaking. Damn it, compared to the white-clothed Emperor, Zhentian Dragon Emperor is nothing. He has offended Zhentian Dragon Emperor and still has a chance to survive. If he offends the man in front of him, that is to say that there is no scum left in death. You know, this man is someone who even dares to scheme against heaven. In one case, if the Zhentian Dragon Emperor comes to question him in the future, he will directly say that the White Emperor asked him to settle it, and see if he is afraid. Thinking of this, the old man in Huangbao couldn't help grinning. He suddenly felt so good, his legs were no longer weak, and his waist was no longer sore. Sir, I've got it. After dozens of breaths, the old Taoist Huangbao spat out a mouthful of blood and said with great excitement. Where? In the eternal deep space, I have recorded the specific location on this turtle shell. The old Taoist in Huangbao handed Li Bai an ancient turtle shell, which was made of Xuanhuan, one of the 4 sacred beasts. Of course, this turtle shell was only a small part. Yes, this imperial weapon is yours. Just when Li Bai was about to throw the imperial soldiers to the yellow-robed old man, the latter shook his head repeatedly, like a rattle. No, no, sir, this is impossible. Being able to count things for you is already a great blessing for me. How dare I accept your things? You're an old man, but you have a lot of ideas. Tell me, what can I ask for? Li Bai smiled. How could he not know what this veteran's plan was? He, I still can't hide it from you. I have something to ask for. I hope you can help me find a descendant who can inherit my mantle. The yellow-robed Taoist said with a silly smile. Hey, you old man has finally figured it out. Didn't you just give up on him before you die? Hey, can that be the same? Now that you have re-entered the world, my lord, am I not ready to sacrifice at any time? The old master will be on standby at any time. The old Taoist in yellow robe licked Li Bai wildly, wishing he could die for you immediately. Oh, that's right, then I can't live up to your kindness. Let's do this. Help me kill the Zhentian Dragon Emperor. Li Bai said with a smile. Ah, this. The old man in Huangbao was confused. I was just talking. Why did you take it seriously? Although I really want to lick you, I can't lick myself to death. However, it's not because I don't want to do things for Li Bai, it's mainly because the descendants haven't found him yet. What if he accidentally loses his mantle? Okay, just kidding, you can't beat him. Hey, sir, you are wise. Okay, I will pay attention to helping you find your heirs. In that case, would you like to go out of town for a drink, sir? Ken. Li Bai said slowly, after so many years, he really missed the wine in the fairy world. After saying that, the two of them left the city directly. Of course, they did not leave the imperial city directly, but just went to the periphery. After all, there are restaurants and fireworks everywhere, and the inner city, except for some merchants, is where all the big families gather. Of course, there is another characteristic of the outer city, that is, it does not care about killing and stealing, but of course it is not unlimited. Hey, they seem to be going to the outer city, should we? Haha, if you want to die, don't drag me with you. Do you think there will be no one to protect the person who takes the imperial soldier with him? Hiss, damn, I almost got carried away. If it doesn't work, I have to find someone to vent my anger quickly, otherwise I'm really afraid I'll get in trouble myself. Damn it, hook up and listen to music, take me with you. Soon, the news that Li Bai had imperial weapons and left the city had spread to the major imperial clans in the inner city. These imperial clans are all ready to make a move. After all, the temptation of an imperial weapon is too great and no one can refuse it. The top 10 imperial clans, the Ye clan. How about that person's identity and background check? A Ye family godson asks slowly. Son of God, the investigation is clear. The origin of this person is unknown, but based on the aura on his body, it is very likely that he came from the lower world, an imperial weapon obtained by chance. And we can be sure that there is no one behind him to protect him, because we did not find any fluctuations in the void. Very good, let's go and get the imperial soldiers back. What if this person doesn't want to be replaced? Haha, then kill him and grab him. But there are some rules in the outer city. Those rules are for those ants, not for our imperial clan. Yes. At the same time, many geniuses from the 10 imperial clans also received orders to replace the imperial soldiers. On the other side, Li Bai and the old Taoist Huangbao came to a restaurant, and the gods were drunk. He, sir, don't worry, this Tianxianzui's wine is famous far and wide, and it is famous throughout the Kangtianxianyu realm. It's just that it's too expensive. One altar requires one god king soldier. The old Taoist Huangbao said regretfully. Why, you, a quasi-emperor, can't afford it? Sir, look at what you said, I'm just a casual cultivator, so naturally I can't compare to those members of the imperial clan. Stop talking nonsense, I'm treating you. Oh, thank you for your hospitality. Afterwards, the two entered the restaurant. It's a small restaurant with the eternal God King sitting in charge. It's interesting. Li Bai said slowly. Hey, sir, don't underestimate this restaurant. It's owned by the Xuanhuan imperial clan, one of the top 10 imperial clans. Start, Invincible, met the empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de La Chang. Chapter 12. Two distinguished guests, what would you like? A waiter walked up to the two of them and said slowly that his realm has reached the level of a half-step god king. It is unimaginable that a waiter in a restaurant can reach the realm of a half-step god king. This is the foundation of the imperial clan. I'll serve all your best dishes, plus 2 altars of heavenly drunkenness. Don't worry, you won't be short of money. The yellow-robed Taoist said boldly. No problem, but according to the regulations, do you think? The waiter said cryptically, obviously to see if the two of them had the spending power. Is it enough? Li Bai directly gave the waiter a space ring. Then the waiter opened it and looked at it. He immediately beamed with joy. There were 10 God King weapons inside. Of course that's enough. Distinguished guests, please come upstairs. 2 distinguished guests on the 2nd floor. Afterwards, the waiter took the 2 of them to the 2nd floor and sat down by the window. The decoration on the 2nd floor was extremely luxurious. Both the chairs and the dining table were made of 10,000-year-old sandalwood. This shows how luxurious they are. The function of 10,000-year-old sandalwood is to clear the soul and shake the mind of demons. For practitioners, these 2 are the biggest enemies. A small piece of 10,000-year-old sandalwood is worth 1 God King's weapon, which is equivalent to hundreds of millions of immortal crystals. Tisk tisk, you are indeed an imperial clan. This 10,000-year-old sandalwood is like free of charge. No wonder they want to send an eternal God King. The old Taoist Huangbao clicked his tongue in surprise. Soon, 2 altars of heavenly wine were brought to the table. The aroma of wine overflowed, like a beautiful woman dancing in front of his eyes. Just smelling it made the old man in yellow robe salivate. In the entrance, it is extremely soft at first, then spicy, extremely spicy, and then it feels like it is being set on fire, and then it falls into a fairyland. Not only that, Tianxianzi also has the ability to stabilize one's realm and improve one's understanding of the Great Path. This also makes Tianxianzi so expensive. In response to those words, the heavenly immortal must have been so drunk that he crushed the white clouds into pieces. Sir, what do you think? This drunken immortal lives up to his reputation, right? Not bad. Li Bai said slowly after tasting it. Just as the two of them were enjoying the delicacies and wine, 5 people appeared beside them, with overwhelming momentum, and the leader of them had an extremely noble temperament. Dear guest, I'm really sorry, I couldn't stop them. The waiter kept apologizing to Li Bai. It doesn't matter, you go down first. Yes. Who are you? The old man in yellow robe said unhappily. We are members of the imperial clan, the Ye family, and this is our son of God, Ye Wuxian. What's the matter? I heard that you have an imperial weapon, right? Ye Wuxian asked from a high position, staring at Li Bai and the two. What does it have to do with you? The old Taoist in yellow robe said. Haha, I will give you 10 divine king weapons, 1 billion divine crystals, and the origin of a medium avenue. How about exchanging it with you? Ye Wuxian said slowly. Ha ha ha, your brain is broken. No, are you sure he is the divine son of the Ye family, or are you all the divine sons of the Ye family so brainless? I suggest you go back to the drawing board and recreate it. Damn it, do you know the concept of imperial soldiers? You are just a team of scrap metal, and you want to replace our adults' imperial soldiers. Go ahead and eat shit. No, you can't keep up with the heat even if you eat shit. The old man in yellow robe took a sip of wine and began to output firepower. You are so presumptuous that you dare to insult the Son of God, you are seeking death. At this time, the person next to Ye Wuxian shouted angrily, and just as he was about to take action, he was stopped by Ye Wuxian. Boy, you know the truth behind a man's innocence, but he is guilty of carrying a treasure. You can't keep the imperial soldiers. It's an honor for you to be able to exchange them with our imperial clan, you know. Ye Wuxian said sinisterly. If someone was pointed at and scolded by a magic stick, he would naturally not have a good attitude. If he didn't kill Li Bai and the two on the spot, he would be considered merciful. What the hell? Just as the yellow-robed Taoist was about to spit out lotus flowers, bursts of laughter came from behind Ye Wuxian. Ha 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 ha, Ye Wuxian, you are out of your mind. Even with all your stuff, you want to exchange for imperial weapons. This old man is right. You should go back to the drawing board and rebuild it. Don't ruin the reputation of our imperial clan. Young master, our Zhang family is willing to give you 20 pieces of God King's weapons, 2 billion immortal crystals, the origin of 3 superior avenues, a drop of the blood of an ancient dragon and carp, a star grass, and 10 kilograms of purple gold mysterious crystals. Exchange. Zhang Yi, you are looking for death. Ye Wuxian cursed angrily when he saw the person behind him. Why, we're going to have a fight, come on, look at our Zhang family, are we afraid of your Ye family? Zhang Yi said extremely arrogantly, others are afraid of Ye Wuxian, but he is not afraid. They are all 10 imperial clans, no one is absolutely weaker than the other. Even the guests downstairs saw this scene, but they couldn't hear clearly what they said, so they all exclaimed. Is that the divine son of the Ye family? That's right. According to legend, he possesses a void body and is ranked among 1,000 ancient physiques. He is extremely powerful. TCH, the divine son of the Zhang family is not weak at all. Zhang Yi possesses the bones of a divine king. In the future, the lowest realm will be the eternal divine king. Just as these guests were arguing in full swing, dozens more of the proud ones appeared on the second floor. Damn it, isn't that Long Aotian from Teiku Longshan? There is also Feng Lingian from the immortal Phoenix Mountain. The appearance of these two people ignited the hearts of everyone present, especially Long Aotian, who had the blood of the ancient ancestor dragon and was good at killing. Not only that, he was also the dragon son of the ancient dragon mountain. Look, it's the Xuanhuan goddess, the Xuanhuan goddess has appeared. Tisk tisk, so beautiful, worthy of being on the list of beauties in the Kangtian fairyland. At this time, the appearance of a woman shocked the whole audience. It was the emperor's daughter of the Xuanhuan family, Xuanhuan Minjiao. As her name suggests, she is like a bright moon, cold and incomparable, as holy as the snow lotus of Tianshan Mountain. People can only watch from a distance and not play with it. The appearance of Xuanhuan Minjiao directly suppressed all the geniuses present, not for anything else, but because she was the emperor's daughter, and the rest were sons or goddesses of gods. Emperor Minjiao. After seeing Xuanhuan Minjiao appear, Ye Wuxian and the others bowed their hands and said respectfully. Even if he was arrogant, he didn't dare to act rashly in front of Xuanhuan Minjiao. Why are you guys making noise in my restaurant? Xuanhuan Minjiao's voice is like the sound of a stream in Tianshan Mountain, clear and cool, making people intoxicated. Emperor's daughter, you should have no say in this matter, right? Feng Lingyan looked at Xuanhuan Minjiao unhappily and said that it was because of Xuanhuan Minjiao's appearance that she was squeezed off the list of beauties. Oh, this is my restaurant, do you think I can control it? You, brother Aotian, look at her. Feng Lingyan then looked at Long Aotian on the side, only to see Long Aotian looking straight at Xuanhuan Minjiao, with lust in his eyes, not concealed at all. He, Minjiao, don't worry about her, long time no see, you are really getting more and more beautiful. Long Aotian smiled evilly, revealing a smile that he thought was very handsome. However, Xuanhuan Minjiao ignored him and walked straight to Li Bai and said, Sir, a few people disturbed you too while you were dining. Minjiao apologizes for them. It was Minjiao's mismanagement. Your name is Xuanhuan Minjiao. Li Bai glanced at Xuanhuan Minjiao and said calmly. Yes, sir. After meeting Li Bai's eyes, Xuanhuan Minjiao was shocked in her heart. She had never seen such an ancient and vicissitudes of life. It seemed that she could see the origin, change, and destruction of countless eras in his eyes. No matter how big the matter was, it could not disturb his mind at all. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Start, Invincible, Met the Empress's Apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 13. Emperor Xuanhuan, who are you? Li Bai said slowly. Sir, do you know my father? It turns out to be your father. I said you looked familiar. I didn't expect that such a rough man could give birth to such a beautiful daughter. Li Bai said with a smile. After seeing Li Bai's smile and hearing his words, Xuanhuan Minjiao couldn't help but blush, not because of his appearance, but because of Li Bai's temperament. She had only seen this kind of temperament in her father, and it could only be developed through years of experience. But Li Bai was obviously very young, maybe not as old as she was. This made her feel incredible. So, Master, do you really know my father? Xuanhuan Minjiao asked curiously. So be it. By the way, how is your father doing now? Young master, my father is fine now. I thank you for your condolences on my father's behalf. Xuanhuan Minjiao behaved elegantly and spoke gracefully. After finishing speaking, Xuanhuan Minjiao glanced at the old man in yellow robe who was drinking next to him. He immediately recognized the old man in yellow robe and said with great respect. Senior, I didn't expect you to be here too. Hey, Sister Minjiao, you finally recognized the old man. I thought you couldn't walk on the road when you saw the handsome guy. The old Taoist in yellow robe said with his big yellow teeth. Senior is joking. If it weren't for Senior, my father wouldn't have recovered so quickly. You two know each other? Li Bai asked curiously. Sir, I helped Sister Minjiao's father. At that time, Her father was in urgent need of a medicinal material, so he asked me to figure it out. After Xuanhuan Minjiao heard the word sir, she became even more curious about Li Bai's confusing identity, and at the same time, she was even more afraid. She knew the identity of the old Taoist Huangbao. At that time, Xuanhuan Minjiao heard from her father that the old Taoist in yellow robe was a quasi-emperor with one foot on the throne. How could Xuanhuan Minjiao not be curious about such a person in the quasi-emperor realm, but he called Li Bai sir. At this moment, she even had a hint of doubt, whether Li Bai was the arrival of a certain great emperor. Are you also here to exchange for imperial soldiers? Li Bai then said to Xuanhuan Minjiao. Ah, master, how did you know? There is a god king stationed here. How can he need the dignified daughter of the Xuanhuan family to come and settle this trivial matter? Li Bai said slowly. Young master, to tell you the truth, it is indeed the case. Our Xuanhuan family is willing to provide us with 100 pieces of God King's weapons, tens of billions of divine crystals, 10 superior origin avenues, an ancient Daodi relic, and a quasi-emperor's weapon. Exchange. Not only that, but our Xuanhuan family has the qualifications to be on the path of the God King and the path of the great emperor. Seeing that the purpose was guessed, Xuanhuan Minjiao said respectfully, in fact, there were not so many originally, Xuanhuan Minjiao added them temporarily. Everyone present almost went crazy after hearing the conditions proposed by Xuanhuan Minjiao. Holy shit, did I hear you right? That young master has imperial weapons in his hands. Damn, I'm so enviable. I asked, why are there so many proud men of the imperial clan today? It turns out they are here to exchange for imperial soldiers. I have to say that the conditions for Emperor Xuanhuan's daughter are very attractive. Basically, these conditions are comparable to those of an imperial weapon, not to mention the qualifications for the path of the God King and the path of the great emperor. Damn it, Minjiao, you are crazy, this kid's imperial weapon is just a low-grade imperial weapon. After Long Aotian heard Xuanhuan Minjiao's condition, he immediately said excitedly. Yes, Princess Minjiao, it would be a real loss to exchange these conditions for an inferior imperial weapon. The sons and goddesses present constantly persuaded Xuanhuan Minjiao that in their opinion, the imperial arms were indeed valuable, but if they exchanged them for a low-grade imperial armament under these conditions, it would be a big mistake. Do you need to talk more about our Xuanhuan family's affairs? Xuanhuan Minjiao said coldly. Haha, is it your idea or your father's? Li Bai stared at Xuanhuan Minjiao and said with a smile. This. Xuanhuan Minjiao suddenly felt that her thoughts were seen through, and then she said coquettishly. Sir, this is Minjiao's own idea, but don't worry, my father will definitely agree. Tisk tisk, you are indeed an adult, your style is still the same. The old Taoist in yellow robe looked at Xuanhuan Minjiao's expression on the side and marveled. Sure enough, among the thousands of women in the world, even the ancient race of mothers, none of them could not resist the charm of the adults. Everyone present was stunned when they heard these words. Originally they thought it was the condition put forward by the head of the Xuanhuan family, but now it seems that it is the condition temporarily added by Emperor Minjiao. What's the situation? Is it possible that Emperor Xuanhuan likes that person? Don't give it to him, Emperor daughter. Even if you have to give it to him, promise me, don't let him get in. How is it possible? How can that person be worthy of Emperor Minjiao? Haha, you are really a lowly man. Why can't my young master be worthy? Then you can't be worthy of him. His young master can produce an imperial weapon, can you? Huh, I just don't deserve it anyway. Haha, it's so disgusting, so arrogant, who in the family understands? Sir, if that's the case, why don't you go see my father in person? My father will definitely agree to my terms. Xuanhuan Minjiao said slowly. No need, in that case, this imperial weapon will be given to you. Li Bai said slowly. What, master, did you say something wrong? After Xuanhuan Minjiao heard these words, her heart suddenly turned upside down. She wondered if she was hallucinating. You heard that right. After Li Bai finished speaking, he took out the imperial weapon and threw it to Xuanhuan Minjiao. The moment Emperor Wei appeared, everyone present believed that Li Bai really had an imperial weapon. Damn it, it's really an imperial soldier, it's really an imperial soldier. No, just give it away like this. This is the imperial soldier. The imperial soldier is not a piece of cabbage. Wow, whoever can give me an imperial weapon, I will marry her on the spot. Stop dreaming, look at your elephant legs and bucket waist. Bah, the guy at the bottom, he is a little fairy, okay. Am I no longer able to keep up with the times? Oh, sir, can you give it to me? I can be a dog. Brother, if you want to eat shit, just say it, I have something hot here. Is this a betrothal gift? Using an imperial weapon as a betrothal gift is indeed quite honorable. Xuanhuan Minjiao took over the imperial weapon blankly. At this moment, she believed that Li Bai really gave it to her for free. No, young master, you must come to meet the family with me. I have to talk to my father about this. Xuanhuan Minjiao took Li Bai's hand and prepared to leave. Damn, are you going directly to see your father-in-law? I'm so envious of you. You can too, unless you also take out an imperial weapon and give it away for free. Roll. On the other side, Long Aotian and the others were also dumbfounded. What happened? They went home directly to see their father-in-law. At this moment, Long Aotian felt that his home had been stolen. His hair was green. What kind of NTR plot? He was not a Turan. You must know that he but Xuanhuan Minjiao has always been regarded as a forbidden concubine. Boy, how dare you! Before he could wait, Long Aotian got angry, and Yewuishan on the side was the first to hold back. After all, he had always liked Xuanhuan Minjiao. Of course, there was another person present who was instantly excited, and that was Zhang Yi. He loved stealing houses and wives the most. Minjiao, don't be deceived by this kid. He is from the lower world. Do you think there may be imperial soldiers? Maybe they were stolen. Besides, how can this kid, a person from the lower world, know Uncle Xuanhuan? Poof. Hearing this, some people present couldn't help laughing. Ha ha ha, the godson of the Ye family is anxious. He thinks the emperor's soldiers are so easy to steal. What's more, he actually said that this young master is a person from the lower world. He laughed to death. However, what the Ye family's divine son said is correct. If this young master is really from the lower world, how did he get the emperor's weapons and how did he get to know the head of the Xuanhuan family? Yewuishan, what do I want to do, does it matter to you? Who do you think you are? When will it be your turn to point fingers at me? Xuanhuan Minjiao said in an extremely cold voice, followed by 3 consecutive critical hits. Minjiao you. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 14. Yewuishan suddenly felt very aggrieved. First of all, he also liked Xuanhuan Minjiao. Another reason was that their Ye family had long wanted to replace Xuanhuan family as the top of the top 10 families. If Xuanhuan family got an imperial weapon for nothing at this critical moment, it would be difficult for their Ye family. The imperial weapon is the imperial weapon. It is the strategic weapon of every imperial family, even if the one in Li Bai's hand is just an inferior imperial weapon. Boy, don't be shameless. The imperial daughter Minjiao is not something that you, an ant, can get involved in. I advise you to trade with our Ye family, otherwise there will be no place for you in the entire fairyland. Yewuishan then pointed the spearhead at Li Bai, his eyes were full of anger, and he wished to turn Li Bai into ashes directly. The sons and daughters of the gods of other families were watching the show on the side. Even Long Aotian felt something was wrong. First of all, Li Bai's identity. He didn't believe that he was from the lower world. Secondly, a person who was fearless with an imperial soldier was either a madman or a terrible existence. Obviously, Li Bai did not belong to the former, so it was just right for Ye Wuxian, the young man, to test it first. Lingian, let our two big families check the specific information of this person, no matter what it is. Long Aotian said to Feng Lingian beside him. Long Aotian was a little arrogant, but he was not stupid. Okay, brother Aotian. Are you talking to me? Li Bai stared at Ye Wuxian and said calmly. Boy, you are looking for death. Ye Wuxian was even more furious when he saw Li Bai's attitude. Kill him. Li Bai glanced at the old Taoist in yellow robe and said. He, sir, no problem, just watch it. The old Taoist in yellow robe grinned and said excitedly. In the past, he really didn't dare to do it. After all, Ye Wuxian was the son of God of the Ye family. Although he was only the son of God, the old Taoist in yellow robe didn't have the courage. After all, the Ye family had a great emperor in the world. But now is different from the past. There is a master beside him, the master of all the heavens and the worlds. Even if there is a great emperor standing in front of him, he dares to go up and punch him. There is no way to be arrogant with a backer. Boy, tell me, why don't you provoke something else? Why do you provoke this master? Do you know that even if you are the emperor of the Ye family, you have to bow down in front of this master? The old Taoist in yellow robe walked in front of Ye Wuxian and said with pity. After hearing this, Ye Wuxian was obviously stunned. No one had ever competed with him for status. Haha, you are so arrogant. As one of the 10 great imperial clans, our Ye family has no one in the Kangtian immortal realm that we cannot afford to offend, not to mention the great emperor. You are simply dreaming. I have decided to crush you to ashes first, and then slowly deal with that kid. I wonder who dares to stop me. Ye Wuxian said viciously. Oh, deal with me, huh? The old Taoist in yellow robe smiled and said, and the next moment he revealed his own realm. In an instant, the vast and boundless power of the quasi-emperor swept the entire restaurant, and the entire imperial city was in turmoil, as if entering the end of the world. Wherever the breath passed, the big stars collapsed, the galaxy boiled, and the spatial order collapsed directly. This kind of power of the quasi-emperor is several times more terrifying than the emperor's weapon. After all, the emperor's weapon is nothing more than a weapon used by the emperor, with a little emperor's power on it, but the quasi-emperor is a real realm. Fortunately, the Xuanhuan family's restaurant has a ban set by their quasi-emperor ancestor, otherwise it would be razed to the ground. However, despite this, the entire restaurant is still like a small boat in the wind and rain, swaying and crumbling. At this moment, all the people in the imperial city also felt the power of the quasi-emperor, and rumors spread all over the place, and the situation changed. In some distant places, strong people felt the power of the quasi-emperor and couldn't help but be surprised. The imperial city, the quasi-emperor appeared. What's going on? First the breath of the emperor's soldiers, and now another quasi-emperor appeared. Could it be? It's impossible. Shouldn't the quasi-emperors of the 10 major imperial clans be in seclusion and living, except for the one from the Ye family and the Xuanhuan family, who is still active in the world, but this breath obviously does not belong to either of them. At this moment, everyone present was dumbfounded, and their hearts were like a meteorite falling into the sea, stirring up thousands of waves. At this moment, except Xuanhuan Minjiao who could keep a little bit of rationality, after all, she had known it for a long time, but even so, after seeing the power of the quasi-emperor, her legs could not help but tremble, and layers of fine sweat appeared on her forehead. Except Xianyu and Minjiao, all the remaining people, including the proud sons of the imperial family, fell to the ground one after another, with blood splattering in their mouths. They could not bear the power of the quasi-emperor. Even if it was only a quasi-emperor, it was still below one person and above 10,000 people. Fortunately, the old Taoist in yellow robe did not face this imperial power directly to everyone, otherwise it is estimated that everyone present would be directly annihilated, and their souls would fall into the abyss forever. Quasi-emperor, this is, quasi-emperor. Long Aotian panted and trembled. How is it possible? How could this old Taoist in yellow robe be a quasi-emperor? After feeling the power of the quasi-emperor, Ye Wuxian shouted hoarsely, he knew he could not survive, the emperor could not be insulted, and the quasi-emperor was the same. At this moment, a voice transmission sounded in Xuanhuan Minjiao's mind. Daughter of the emperor, what should we do now? The one who delivered this message was the eternal God King stationed in the restaurant. Don't worry about it, we can't interfere, this young master is not simple. Yes. Remember, the emperor cannot be humiliated, and the adults cannot be humiliated even more. The old Taoist in yellow robe glanced at Li Bai, and just as he was about to take action, he saw another quasi-emperor's power appear in this Tianxian building. The two imperial powers confronted each other and annihilated each other. Only then did the people present feel that the power as heavy as the stars slowly disappeared, and their whole bodies could not help but feel comfortable. Sir, as a quasi-emperor, it is really disgraceful to attack a junior, right? In the void, vicissitudes of life slowly came. He, you talk too much nonsense, why, you dare not show up. The old Taoist in yellow robe said with a smile. What a joke. The next moment, a hunchbacked old man slowly appeared in front of Ye Wuxian. His identity was one of the quasi-emperor ancestors of the Ye family, Ye Xian. Ancestor, ancestor, save me. Ye Wuxian, after seeing his own ancestor again, also reacted and shouted wildly. Who do I think I am? It turns out to be the ancestor of the Ye family. Ye Xian, you haven't died in all these years. Haha, your divine calculation element didn't die, so how could I die easily? What I didn't expect was that you were promoted to a quasi-emperor. What a pity. Even if you show up, he will die. After all, this is what the adults said, and no one can stop it. After the yellow robe finished speaking, he clenched his big hand towards the void, and Ye Wuxian and others were instantly crushed into a pool of meat paste, and blood mixed with internal organs splashed on the faces of the people next to them. You. After seeing this scene, Ye Xian was immediately furious. He didn't expect that the yellow-robed Taoist priest would dare to kill Ye Wuxian in front of him, even before he could react. In fact, Ye Xian also knew that even though he was also a quasi-emperor, he was already extremely weak and could not compare to the yellow-robed Taoist priest who was still at the peak. But after all, he was also a member of the Ye family's imperial family. He originally thought that he would give himself a face no matter what. Ye Wuxian, if he dies, then he dies. After all, the Ye family doesn't need the Son of God. But this insult to the face of the imperial family is different. God calculation Yuan, do you know the consequences of doing this? You will face the endless pursuit of our Ye family. Ye Xian said very calmly. After so many years, it seems that your Ye family has forgotten the pain of the past. At this time, Li Bai, who had been sitting and drinking, said slowly. Who are you? How dare you speak so arrogantly? Ye Xian looked at Li Bai and said slowly, but the next moment, he suddenly felt a long-lost throbbing in his heart, because he, a quasi-emperor, could not see through the realm of the man in white in front of him. The next moment, Li Bai's voice slowly came into Ye Xian's mind. Why, the battle of the emperor's fall, several emperors died, didn't it hurt you? Boom. Ye Xian's heart began to beat violently. This sentence directly broke his defense as a quasi-emperor, and his brain even stopped thinking. Who are you? Yexian said hesitantly. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 15. I don't like the way you look at me condescendingly. Li Bai shook his head and said, the next moment, Yexian's arms disappeared directly, the cut surface was as smooth as a mirror, and there was not even a trace of blood. When Yexian reacted and prepared to regenerate his broken arm, he found a destructive aura attached to the wound of the broken arm, preventing his arms from growing. At this moment, Yexian felt that his soul was condensed. The fear he had never experienced before continued to grow in his heart, and gradually eroded his Taoist heart. Taboo, avenue, this is the taboo avenue of destruction, impossible, this is controlled by the Emperor of Destruction. Yexian said in a dull voice. Forget it, let's collect some interest first and be banished forever. Li Bai pointed his finger at the void. In an instant, behind Yexian, the void was torn open with an extremely dark crack. An unstoppable suction force kept pulling Yexian. This strange force even affected the Emperor. Never seen it before. No, Senior, let me go, please let me go, I don't want to be exiled. Remember, I am the one you cannot afford to offend. Yexian screamed at the top of his lungs. He knew that the consequence of being exiled was death. Even if he was a quasi-emperor, the difference was that maybe he could live a little longer. Immediately, in a few breaths, Yexian was directly involved in the crack in the void. The crack slowly healed, and there was no longer a quasi-emperor like Yexian in the world. Poor Yexian, even to his death he couldn't figure out why Li Bai could banish such a quasi-emperor like him. At this moment, the whole place was completely silent. Time seemed to have been frozen. You could even hear the sound of everyone's violently beating heart. A quasi-emperor who spanned all the worlds and was immortal was banished alive in front of their eyes. I wanted to speak, but found that no matter what, I couldn't make a sound. I'm leaving now, God Operator. We'll meet again when we have the chance. After Li Bai finished speaking, he disappeared directly into the restaurant. Sir, walk slowly. The old Taoist in yellow robe said respectfully. Senior, what exactly does this young master? After seeing Li Bai disappear, Xuanhuan Minjiao swallowed her saliva and asked in fear. Hush, don't say it. The old Taoist Huangbao directly interrupted Xuanhuan Minjiao's question. You just need to remember that adults are taboo in all the worlds. Okay, Senior, Minjiao must remember this. Xuanhuan Minjiao's head was like a chicken pecking at rice. Okay, I'll leave first, you take care of it here. Senior, why don't you go and meet my father? My father has always wanted to thank you in person. Xuanhuan Minjiao said slowly. No need, I also need to prepare. This golden age will definitely be very exciting. And if you really want to know, go back and ask your father, he will know. After the old man in yellow robe finished speaking, he disappeared directly into the restaurant. However, after he left, rays of light continued to shine on everyone, and the next moment everyone fell to the ground in response. This was the light of disappearing memories. Ask my father. Xuanhuan Minjiao said doubtfully. By the way, young master may know my father. Kangtian Fairyland, in the Xuanhuan mountain. Xuanhuan Minjiao returned home without stopping. As for the people of the imperial clan in the restaurant, they were handed over to the stationed God King and asked to be sent back. As for the reason for fainting, there is only one reason, no comment. However, the Ye family of the imperial clan fell into riots because their quasi-emperor ancestor, Yexian, unexpectedly lost contact with them. No matter how hard they tried, they could not get in touch. The Xuanhuan family must have done it. I just calculated that the last place where ancestor Yexian appeared was the Xuanhuan family's restaurant. An elder from the Ye family said with eyes wide open. Damn it, how dare they? Otherwise, we can just launch an imperial war. I can't bear this tone. The Xuanhuan family is too presumptuous. Elders, don't worry. I just asked the emperor's ancestor. He said that ancestor Yexian was just exiled and he will find a way to rescue him. This matter must not be spread, otherwise he will be killed without mercy. On the side, the head of the Ye family, Yedeo, slowly said to the elders. After hearing these words, the anger of the elders gradually calmed down. Don't worry, head of the family, we are sensible. That's right, this debt will have to be paid back sooner or later. Everyone, our plan can be advanced. It happens that a long-lost secret realm in the fairyland is about to be opened. This time we can collect some interest first. We must kill all the younger generations of the Xuanhuan family and cut off their luck first. That's right, the emperor's son is here, we must kill them all. On the other side, Xuanhuan Mountain. In a palace on the top of the sacred mountain, a middle-aged man with a heavy back and a bearded face is recuperating. An aura of terrifying power and power that shakes the heavens continues to spread out from his body. This person is none other than the contemporary head of the Xuanhuan imperial clan, Emperor Xuanhuan, a peak quasi-emperor. Father. Xuanhuan Minjiao slowly came in and said hello. It is unimaginable that such a rugged man would give birth to a woman like Xuanhuan Minjiao. It can be seen that her mother must have been a powerful woman, and maybe she was still a young mother. Haha, my dear Minjiao. Why are you here? Emperor Xuanhuan laughed and said. Father, didn't you ask me to change the imperial soldiers? Xuanhuan Minjiao said with disgust. Oh, yes, hey, I'm old and my memory is bad. Emperor Xuanhuan patted his head and said slowly. How's it going? Have you changed it? It's considered a change. Xuanhuan Minjiao tilted her head. Does prostitution count for free? Of course it does. But there is one thing I need to tell you. What? I saw Senior Xuanhuan. Xuanhuan Minjiao said slowly. Really? Didn't you invite him? Emperor Xuanhuan said excitedly. That's not the point. The point is that Senior Xuanhuan is accompanied by a young master. Following a young master? What's so strange about this? Maybe he's his descendant. Emperor Xuanhuan said doubtfully. Do you know what Senior Xuanhuan calls this young master? Oh, you really inherited this problem from your mother, stop inking. Emperor Xuanhuan said impatiently. Senior calls the young master, sir. Xuanhuan Minjiao said slowly. Sir? Is there anything else? Emperor Xuanhuan frowned and said slowly. One more thing, Senior said that young master is a taboo, the biggest taboo in all the worlds. Xuanhuan Minjiao said seriously. Boom. This sentence directly exploded in Emperor Xuanhuan's mind. The word taboo was constantly recalled in his mind. Periods of eventful years kept flashing by. Soon, a figure slowly appeared in Emperor Xuanhuan's mind. Minjiao, what does that young master look like? Emperor Xuanhuan shouted with great excitement, his eyes were red and even sparkling with tears. Well, he is very young and handsome. He is dressed in white, but his eyes give people a very vicissitudes of life, and his temperament does not match his appearance. I only see this kind of temperament in you and a few ancestors. Seen it? Xuanhuan Minjiao said slowly after recalling it. After she finished speaking, she found that her father was stunned. Then, she actually saw a tear shed by her father. Snap! Tears fell to the ground, making the whole palace tremble. Father, you! Ha 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 ha, I knew it, how could the master fall, ha 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 ha. Before Xuanhuan Minjiao could finish speaking, Emperor Xuanhuan was laughing as if he had lost his mind and was going crazy. While laughing, he was crying bitterly. It's over, my father is crazy, should I let my mother remarry? My mother is still young anyway. You little girl, what are you talking about? Emperor Xuanhuan immediately cursed after hearing this. Father, do you know the identity of that young master? Senior said you might know. Xuanhuan Minjiao asked hurriedly. Li Bai's identity really made her too curious. Girl, that senior is right, I do know him, and he is very familiar with her. I saw adults when I was a kid. Emperor Xuanhuan said slowly. Ah, when you were a child, didn't that mean? Xuanhuan Minjiao said in surprise. You guessed it right, and the reason why I was promoted to Quasi-Emperor is all due to your excellency. Father, what is going on here? Xuanhuan Minjiao was as anxious as an ant on a hot pot, and her heart was scratching her like a cat's claw. I can't tell you too much, including your name, because it is a taboo that is not allowed even by heaven. How do you think the 2 previous divine punishments came about? Is it because of the young master's name? Xuanhuan Minjiao's eyes widened and she said in disbelief. She never thought that saying a person's name would lead to divine punishment. This is simply a humming fantasy. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 16. Girl, do you know about the Battle of Dailuo? After calming down his inner emotions, Emperor Xuanhuan stared at Xuanhuan Minjiao, with a trace of reminiscence flashing in his eyes, and spoke quietly. Well, of course I know. I'm afraid there's no one in the entire universe who doesn't know about it. Xuanhuan Minjiao nodded and said slowly. I can only tell you that your excellency is the one who plays chess in the battle of Emperor Luo. Emperor Xuanhuan sighed and said seriously. A person who plays chess. Xuanhuan Minjiao said doubtfully, but suddenly she seemed to think of something, her face instantly turned pale, her whole body felt like she was trapped in an ice hell, and she couldn't help but tremble. Could it be, that? Xuanhuan Minjiao thought of a legendary person, a person who surpassed half the world. That's right, as long as you know this, it will be good for you. Knowing too much will not do you any good. Emperor Xuanhuan said extremely seriously. She didn't want Xuanhuan Minjiao to be contaminated by Li Bai's cause and effect. I didn't expect, it turned out to be true. I thought what was recorded in ancient books was false. Xuanhuan Minjiao lost consciousness and muttered to himself. After calming down for a while, she still felt her heart beating wildly. She originally thought that these were just fabrications. After all, they were too old. She had also asked the ancestors of the clan before, but they said they didn't know anything. It turned out that they were not. I don't know, but I can't tell. By the way, Father, this is the Imperial soldier given to me for free by your excellency. I'm going to leave first. I have to take it easy. It's too scary. Xuanhuan Minjiao threw the Imperial soldiers to Queen Xuanhuan and left in a hurry. The impact of this incident on her was really too great. A person behind the battle of the Emperor's fall appears in front of you alive. Who can hold back the fear in his heart? And uneasiness, it would be good if you don't scare to death on the spot. Emperor Xuanhuan, after taking over the rusty iron sword, kept stroking it and said slowly. Yes, there is an adult's breath left on it. At this moment, the iron sword glowed brightly, and a figure slowly appeared in front of Emperor Xuanhuan. Little prince, how are you doing lately? Li Bai's figure said with a smile. My lord. It's really you, my lord. The Xuanhuan family, Emperor Xuanhuan, have met you, sir. When Emperor Xuanhuan saw the figure, he immediately knelt down and said respectfully, with tears in his tiger eyes. Okay, How old are you? Why are you crying so much? Hey, sir, isn't this exciting to see you again? Emperor Xuanhuan wiped away his tears and said with a smile. I didn't expect that you are now the head of the Xuanhuan family. Without the guidance of adults, I wouldn't be where I am now. Emperor Xuanhuan said respectfully. I didn't expect that such a tall person like you could give birth to such a beautiful daughter. Li Bai said slowly. Hey, sir, look at what you said, Minjiao completely inherited her mother's genes. By the way, sir, have you been asleep these days? Emperor Xuanhuan asked slowly. Well, I just woke up a while ago. Great, now that the master is awake, isn't it, we have to settle accounts. Emperor Xuanhuan's eyes lit up and he said excitedly, can we finally fight again? Why are you like Nan Yi, you know how to fight and kill? Well, that's what the adults taught you. Emperor Xuanhuan lowered his head and said, like a child who made a mistake, but he kept scolding in his heart. I don't know who it was back then, but he led Sister Nan Yi and me all day long, killing wherever we went. Sir, do you need me to pick you up? Emperor Xuanhuan asked slowly. No, I have my own plan. I will call you when I need you. Hey, sir, don't worry, if you need anything, just call me. By the way, have you seen that dead dog Dawang? Li Bai asked slowly. Dawang, you mean the dog emperor? Dog emperor? Is that dead dog promoted to the great emperor? Li Bai asked curiously. Well, that's not the case. Now it seems that he is the quasi-emperor, and the dog emperor is the self-proclaimed emperor. Emperor Xuanhuan scratched his head and said. Okay, I get it. After finishing speaking, Li Bai's figure slowly disappeared. Huh, after how many years I haven't seen you, even if it's just a figure, your sense of oppression is still so strong. Now that you have woken up, it seems that I have to start preparing, otherwise I will be abandoned by you. Emperor Xuanhuan breathed a sigh of relief, stared at the sky and spoke slowly. At the same time, somewhere in the eternal deep sky, a giant dragon stretching for billions of miles was entrenched in a small world, and its vast imperial power continued to emanate outwards. And this is also one of the few places in the entire universe where heaven cannot control it. With the breath of the giant dragon, the entire ancient deep space continues to tremble. Huge cracks stretch across the sky. Endless chaos is collapsing. Some stars continue to collapse one after another. Every breath is full of world-destroying power. This, the dragon is none other than the great emperor of the ancient dragon clan, the sky-shattering dragon emperor. At this moment, the huge ancient dragon suddenly opened his eyes. In an instant, waves of shocking power swept through the vast universe, and the stars along the way turned into powder, including the creatures on the stars. A mere quasi-emperor dares to plot against me, without overestimating his own abilities. Zhentian Dragon Emperor said slowly, and then the dragon claws that covered the sky pulled the causal thread and tore it off directly. On the other side, the old Taoist in yellow robe spat out a mouthful of blood, his face turned pale instantly, and his whole breath was weak. As expected, Zhentian Dragon Emperor, you found the cause and effect line so quickly, but it's a pity that you are going to die soon. The old Taoist in yellow robe smiled and stared at the eternal deep space. On the other side, when Zhentian Dragon Emperor was about to close his eyes and breathe, he found that there was a person standing in front of him at some point. Who are you and why did you come to the eternal deep space? Zhentian Dragon Emperor asked calmly, and he didn't doubt Li Bai who suddenly appeared. Zhentian Dragon Emperor, long time no see. Li Bai said with a smile. You know me, which emperor are you? Zhentian Dragon Emperor raised his dragon head, stared at Li Bai with his huge bright red dragon eyes and said slowly. It doesn't matter who I am. What's important is that I spent a lot of energy to let a quasi-emperor find you. Li Bai said slowly. You found that ant, interesting. As an emperor, do you need a quasi-emperor to help you find it? Gentian Dragon Emperor, who was not angry when he heard Li Bai's words, asked calmly. I never said that I was the emperor. Gentian Dragon Emperor ignored Li Bai's words. No one except the emperor could reach the eternal deep space, and even the boundless star field could not pass through it. After all, the eternal deep space is a forbidden area. What do you want from me? I'll borrow your emperor's origin. You're looking for death. Gentian Dragon Emperor roared, and dense cracks appeared in the void, and then the void continued to collapse. The two stood directly in the boundless star field, and the surging star field wind kept blowing on the two. This sentence is an insult and a provocation to the emperor. After all, there is only one way to get the emperor's origin, that is, to kill the emperor. The emperor can't be insulted. This is an eternal truth that no one can break, except Li Bai. Of course, after all, he may not be considered a human. Boom. The dragon claw that covered the sky and the sun, with the power of annihilation, slapped Li Bai directly. The power was overwhelming the universe, and the big stars were shaking. Just this simple blow could directly destroy a world, and even the entire fairyland would suffer violent turmoil, and countless creatures would die tragically under this dragon claw. At the level of the emperor, the moves are extremely simple, without the slightest fancy, because there is no need. Too weak. Li Bai shook his head and said, then simply threw a punch. Boom. The scene like a star explosion appeared in the entire boundless star field, and the terrifying fluctuations spread throughout the boundless star field at an unpredictable speed, leaving ruins wherever it passed. The center of the explosion directly hit back to the chaotic state, without time, space, light, or darkness. What's going on? There is a mighty emperor in the boundless star field. Is there an emperor war? An old antique of the emperor clan said hurriedly after feeling this fluctuation. Damn, what's going on recently? Either the emperor's soldiers appear, or the emperor's might, or the aura of two quasi-emperors. Is the way of heaven going to explode? An old immortal of the demon clan stared at the eternal deep space and said impatiently. At this moment, in the center of chaos, the huge dragon eyes of the Gentian Dragon Emperor were full of doubts. To be able to take his move so easily, Li Bai was at least at the same level as himself, but he really didn't remember that there was such an emperor in the fairyland. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 17. Gentian Dragon Emperor, you are too weak. Li Bai shook his head and said slowly. Your Excellency, you are not ashamed of your words. Gentian Dragon Emperor was not angry and said calmly. After speaking, he rushed directly towards Li Bai, displaying countless killing moves. At this moment, both of them were engaging in the most extreme physical combat. The terrifying aftermath continued to destroy any surrounding objects and space. Constantly being torn into pieces and turning into a state of chaos. Why is your body like this? Is it possible that your physical body also became an emperor? Gentian Dragon Emperor said with confusion in shock, you must know that what their dragon clan is most proud of is the physical body. It can be said that in terms of physical body alone, no race in the entire world can compare with their ancient dragon clan. You guess. Li Bai said teasingly. My kid, you still guess. Shocking technique. Gentian Dragon Emperor did not hesitate after hearing this, and shouted loudly. The Emperor's power is mighty. This is the Emperor's art, the exclusive secret art of every emperor. Of course, the Emperor's art is also divided into strong and weak. The longer the Emperor is immersed in the realm of the Emperor, the stronger your understanding of your own imperial skills. I saw that the newly restored space around me began to tremble and break, and endless earth-shaking power surged towards Li Bai. Even the quasi-emperor would turn into powder if it came into contact with a trace of the earth-shaking power, and his body and soul would turn into nothingness. Not to mention such a vast and earth-shaking power, even the avenue in the hands of the emperor can be turned into dust. Shaking the sky technique. It's a pretty good secret technique. But it's still in vain. Li Bai said slowly after feeling the endless power of shaking the sky. In the endless years, he had seen too many imperial arts. In terms of power alone, the power of shaking the sky was not bad, but it was just like that. For example, the Sword Emperor's imperial technique, Eternal Time Slash, can be practiced to the extreme to directly return the Kangtian immortal realm to the barbaric era. In the hands of some people, even the long river of time can be cut off. Li Bai waved his hand, and the void behind him continued to shatter, and an extreme force of destruction continued to pour out and wrap around Li Bai, as if it could destroy all heavens and worlds. After a few breaths, Li Bai changed into another appearance. His body was as huge as a sacred mountain, with 2 horns on his head, 2 wings on his back, and his entire lower body was wrapped in the flames of destruction. The aura of destruction reached its peak, and the entire eternal deep space was enveloped by this aura of destruction. Time and space trembled. It seemed that even forbidden places like the eternal deep space could not accommodate Li Bai. This is the Forbidden Avenue, the Lord of Destruction. Li Bai waved his sharp claws, and the Avenue of Destruction carried the power of destroying all realms, spreading instantly, constantly competing with the power of the sky. Click. Accompanied by a series of shattering sounds, the power of the sky-shattering force was directly annihilated, and the dragon scales on the body of the earth-shattering dragon emperor continued to fall off. Soon, drops of blood continued to emerge. At this moment, a drop of blood happened to fall on a huge meteorite. Above, the meteorite fell apart in an instant. You must know that this meteorite is composed of God King gold, which is the raw material for making God King soldiers. A drop of Emperor's blood is as heavy as 10,000 stones. The Avenue of Destruction. No, you are not the Emperor of Destruction. Which Emperor are you? Zhentian Dragon Emperor stared at Li Bai and said seriously. Oh. Then look at this again. After Li Bai finished speaking, a pair of yin and yang divine fishes burst out of the air and slowly condensed into a Tai Chi yin and yang diagram. As the yin and yang diagram continued to rotate, a vast and immeasurable power of yin and yang continued to split time and space, sweeping across the sky and the earth. Come. This is the starting point of the growth of all things, and also the end of the death of all things. Taboo Avenue, Yin-Yang Avenue. Yin-Yang Avenue. Impossible, isn't the Yin-Yang Emperor already dead? The Zhentian Dragon Emperor was fierce, and a tremor flashed in his dragon eyes. Since he became the Emperor, except for the Battle of Emperor Luo, this was the first time he had a brief tremor. After all, he had witnessed the Yin-Yang Emperor killing him at will. Destroy a human emperor. Yes, he is indeed dead, but he was killed by me. Yin and Yang reversal. The Eye of Destruction. Li Bai whispered softly, his breath rising like a volcano erupting. A beam of world-destroying light and the power of reversal of Yin and Yang shot out, pointing directly at the sky-shattering Dragon Emperor. Humph, don't think that you are the only one who has 2 forbidden avenues. Besides, who hasn't done this before, Emperor 2? After the sky-shattering Dragon Emperor finished speaking, the entire dragon body stretching for hundreds of millions of miles shook, and the time and space around him turned into chaos. The vast sky-shaking power emerged again. At the same time, a force that was not weaker than the power of destruction continued. Emergence is another forbidden avenue of the Zhentian Dragon Emperor, the path of bloodshed. In an instant, traces of extremely bright red light continued to emerge from the surface of Zhentian Dragon Emperor, who was originally protected by golden light. Hold head high. After a deafening dragon roar, countless big stars burst into pieces, and an ancient blood dragon slowly appeared in front of Li Bai. At the same time, a bright red dragon ball appeared in the dragon claws of the sky-shattering Dragon Emperor, which was his destiny. Imperial Weapon, Blood Dragon Ball. The ancient blood dragon is one of the 10 ancient dragon ancestors of the ancient dragon clan. It is also the bloodline of the Gentian Dragon Emperor. Of course, it is not a complete bloodline. The ancient blood dragon is the master of killing. It is not weak at all in destroying all things. Deo, even worse. Although, I don't know where you got the 2 forbidden avenues, but even so, you will die, and the emperor cannot be humiliated. Blood killing in all directions, destruction. Gentian Dragon Emperor said slowly like an ancient god whispering. Boom. The aftermath, which is enough to destroy a quasi-emperor, continues to spread in the eternal deep space, and even the restrictions in the eternal deep space have been loosened slightly. After one blow, the Lord of Destruction on Li Bai and the Tai Chi Yin and Yang diagram were directly dispersed, and the Gentian Dragon Emperor was not much better, and kept bleeding. Fortunately, the battlefield between the two of them was in the eternal deep space. Otherwise, if it had happened in the immortal realm, rivers of blood would have flowed and countless creatures would have perished. To be serious, it is estimated that more than half of the land in the Kangtian fairyland will be gone. The avenue of blood killing? It's a good forbidden avenue, but it's a pity that you haven't used 1% of your ancestors' power. Li Bai stared at Gentian Dragon Emperor expressionlessly and said slowly. So what, even so, I can kill you. Gentian Dragon Emperor roared loudly. Forget it, I won't play with you anymore, it's boring. If it's a real ancient blood dragon, I can still be a little bit interested. Hearing this, Gentian Dragon Emperor was obviously stunned for a moment. He didn't quite understand what Li Bai meant. What do you mean I won't play with you anymore? You thought you were playing with a dog, not a dragon. Immediately, he saw the most terrifying scene in his life, which was several times more terrifying than the Battle of Emperor Luo back then. On Li Bai's body, 12 forbidden avenues slowly appeared, including the initial destruction and yin and yang. The 12 forbidden avenues slowly condensed together, and their power shook the entire eternal deep space, including the boundless star field. With a single point, no world exists. No, it's impossible, 12 forbidden avenues, how is this possible? Also, why do you have the forbidden avenue of our dragon clan in your hands? Gentian Dragon Emperor kept roaring. He could not imagine why someone would have 12 forbidden avenues, because this was not allowed by the rules of heaven. No one in the ages could possess 12 forbidden avenues at the same time, even if at that time, the supreme ruler of the immortal clan, the great emperor of nothingness, only had 8 names. I have another one, do you believe it? Li Bai said teasingly. Hearing these words, Gentian Dragon Emperor ignored them, thinking that Li Bai was farting and making fun of him. Because this is impossible, it is a fantasy for the emperor. Looking at the entire river of time, no one in countless eras can possess the 13 forbidden avenues, including the heavenly way, even the most top-notch forbidden avenues on the other side of darkness. Even if it is impossible to exist. Unless, the originator. Of course, this is just a fabrication of countless great emperors and countless supreme beings. Soon, the Gentian Dragon Emperor could feel that he was infinitely close to death. The imperial weapon Blood Dragon Ball beside him instantly turned into powder after coming into contact with the power of the 12 forbidden avenues. No matter what imperial skills he used, and he tried his best to do it, but it was of no avail. This kind of power was not something he could resist, unless he could take another step forward and step into that realm. By the way, haven't you always wanted to know my identity? There's no harm in telling you. My name is Li Bai, and the world calls me the Emperor in White. Li Bai's words slowly entered Gentian Dragon Emperor's mind. With a bang, these words stirred up waves in Gentian Dragon Emperor's mind, and his soul fell into the abyss. The scene where Li Bai massacred the Emperor suddenly appeared before his eyes. It turns out, it's that person. Haha, I overestimated my capabilities. I feel honored to die in your hands. With the Gentian Dragon Emperor's last respectful words to himself and a smile, the Gentian Dragon Emperor fell. He is just a rising star, and among the great emperors, he is at the lowest stage. It is an honor to die in the hands of Li Bai. Looking at this scene, Li Bai had no expression on his face. You must know that the emperors he had slaughtered were more than single digits, and the Gentian Dragon Emperor was weaker than the other emperors he had slaughtered. The Battle of Emperor Luo that year, if you pick anyone at random, the great emperors he has killed are all a bit better than the sky-shattering Dragon Emperor. Then, Li Bai stretched out his hand and grasped it, and a halo of white light slowly appeared in his hand. It was the origin of the earth-shattering Dragon Emperor, and what countless quasi-emperors and emperors longed for. At the same time, in the 10 immortal realms, countless blood clouds were covered, and the divine thunder roared, as if they were howling for the fall of a great emperor. Soon, drops of blood rain continued to fall. The fall of any great emperor would have a profound impact on the entire world. It is a loss to the world, let alone in this era when there are only a few great emperors. Because only the great emperor is the only capital to fight the darkness, and those quasi-emperors and god-kings are cannon fodder at best, nothing more. The emperor fell, and everything wailed. What's going on? Why is it raining blood? Damn it, this is the emperor's reign. Could it be that an emperor has fallen? What? How is it possible? It would be great to find a few great emperors in this era, and there are still some great emperors who have fallen. Impossible, absolutely impossible. How could the emperor fall in this era? Damn it, it's those two emperors who are fighting after all. I didn't expect that I would be able to witness the fall of an emperor in my lifetime. At the same time, the major imperial clans in the 10 major immortal realms also became restless. One stone stirred up 1,000 waves, like a pot exploding. After all, the fall of a great emperor can be said to be the tragedy of the immortal realm. Since the era of the emperor's fall, hundreds of people have no great emperor has fallen in 10,000 years. In this golden age, no one can survive alone, and no one can guarantee whether the next one to fall will be their own great emperor. What's going on? In this era, an emperor can still fall. Who is it? Ancestor, ancestor, it's not good. Part of the eternal deep space has turned into chaos. It seems that it has experienced battles, and there is still the existence of emperor might. Have you found out which two emperors are fighting? There is no one at the moment. Useless, quickly mobilize all the power of the family, we must find out. Yes. At the same time, all the major imperial families sent out their family members to find out which emperor had fallen. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 18. Chapter 18 Sea of Darkness, Dog Thief Li Bai. At this moment, in the Imperial Immortal Realm and the ancient Dragon Clan among the 10 Immortal Realms, deafening wailing sounds continued to spread throughout the entire Immortal Realm. The huge wailing sound caused the galaxy to shake and the avenue was annihilated. Ancestor Gentian has fallen. A quasi-emperor level ancestor of the Dragon Clan knelt on the ground, howling continuously, tears streaming down his face, his whole body trembling, and his terrifying aura rushed straight into the stars, making the avenue tremble. Damn it, check it for me, you must pay with blood, no matter who it is, even if you use the strength of the whole clan, you must kill him. Inform the other ethnic groups in the immortal realm that they will be killed even if they initiate an imperial war. If you go to poverty and fall to hell, you have to find it for me. Yes, ancestor. On this day, the entire 10 ancient dragon clans in the immortal domain were shrouded in gloom. For no other reason than the sky-shattering dragon emperor fell. Although the entire Taku dragon clan is very scattered, no matter what, the Taku dragon clan is a whole. They are all prosperous and suffer losses. Kangtian Immortal Realm, Teiku Longshan. Brother Aotian, don't be sad. The sound of wind chimes kept comforting the grieving Long Aotian. Damn it, how could the Gentian ancestor fall? He was a great emperor, a great emperor. I swear, if I become emperor in the future, I will crush the murderer's bones and raise them to ashes to pay homage to my ancestors. Brother Aotian, don't worry, we at Xuanhuan Mountain will also help you. After all, we have been friends for generations. Feng Xingyian looked at the sad Long Aotian, and couldn't help but feel a little pain in his heart. Soon, the news of the death of the sky-shaking dragon emperor spread like wildfire in the 10 immortal realms. Compared to the sadness of the entire ancient dragon clan, the rest of the imperial clan felt a little bit happy, grinning from the corners of their mouths to their ears. After all, everyone is the enemy. One less great emperor here is equivalent to having one more great emperor here out of thin air. This is a huge good thing. If it weren't for the fact that conditions didn't allow it, they would even want to kneel down and thank the person who caused the fall of the Gentian Dragon Emperor. In the underworld, Emperor Xuanhuan also knew the news of the death of Emperor Gentian at the first time, and couldn't help but smile bitterly. Oh, my lord is still as domineering as ever. But they deserve it, who made them disobey the rules? Forget it, now that the master has woken up, I have to be prepared. After finishing speaking, Li Bai slowly appeared in front of Emperor Xuanhuan. Sir, you are back. Well, I'll give this emperor's origin to you, heal your injuries as soon as possible. Li Bai said slowly after throwing a ball of emperor's origin to Emperor Xuanhuan. Sir, why are you doing this? It's not worth it to be an old man. Besides, if you do this, you will be at war with the entire ancient dragon clan. Emperor Xuanhuan said with tears. To be honest, he was really scared, afraid that Li Bai would launch the Emperor's Fall War again. After all, their human race was already extremely weak. If they experienced another Emperor's Fall War, they would probably be wiped out. Oh, it's just an ancient dragon clan, so why should I be afraid? Back then, I was able to defeat their 10 great ancestral dragons, and I can still do it now. Is this group of great emperors enough? If not, I will kill a few more. Li Bai smiled and said slowly. Sir, don't, that's enough, that's enough. Emperor Xuanhuan almost peed when he heard Li Bai's words. He was afraid that Li Bai would kill a few more emperors. If that happened, the emperor's war would be out of their control. By the way, go and tell Wanqi Academy and the existing emperor of our human race to prepare well. There will be a big war soon. Of course, the reward is also very generous. What, my lord, do you want? Emperor Xuanhuan said in shock. At this moment, she was filled with fear. Could it be that he was right and Li Bai really wanted to start the Emperor's Fall War again? Don't worry, I won't launch the Emperor's Fall War again in the short term. This time I'm just solving a problem and getting something back. After all, the old guys in my body still don't give up. I need to make a deal. Li Bai said slowly. Sir, can you tell us where it is so we can be prepared? Emperor Xuanhuan let out a long sigh. As long as it is not the battle of Emperor Luo, he can say anything. Dark Valley. Hiss. Hearing these words, Emperor Xuanhuan took a quick breath. If he remembered correctly, the Dark Valley can be called a forbidden place among the forbidden places of the immortal realm, because this forbidden place is not controlled by the immortal realm avenue. The most important thing is that in the dark there is a supreme taboo being in the valley, an existence that has harvested the Dark Valley for countless epochs. Don't worry, sir, I'll notify you right away. After Li Bai finished speaking, he disappeared into the underworld. At the same time, in Li Bai's inner universe, Li Bai slowly appeared, and in front of him were 3 rickety old people, penetrated by countless iron chains, and the iron chains that penetrated them were Li Bai's Tao Heart iron chain. You guys have been tortured for countless epochs, doesn't it feel like being tortured by the Dao Heart chain? Li Bai said with a smile. Heh, Li Bai, we must be tortured by original sin day and night, and we must not be able to bear it, right? An old man stared at Li Bai expressionlessly and said slowly. Li Bai, when there is even a slight rupture in your Taoist heart, it will be your death, and the power of original sin will follow you forever. The old man in the middle stared at Li Bai and said with a smile. Alas, why are you so stubborn? Do you really think that original sin can break my Dao heart? Li Bai shook his head and sighed. Humph. Hearing this, the three old men just snorted coldly. They also knew that the probability of original sin breaking Li Bai's Dao heart was almost zero, but Li Bai couldn't kill them either. I say, you old immortals, how long has the original sin era passed? Why do you keep thinking about it? Bah, Li Bai, you shameless bastard, you humming, if you hadn't lied and attacked us at that time, how could this happen? One of the old men couldn't help but spray, and his little mouth kept chattering. Tisk tisk, this is not a sneak attack. After all, I am only one person, and you are three people. How can it be called a sneak attack? Humph, forget it. We would rather stay here forever and suffer the torment of the Dao chain than agree to you. That's right, it's impossible to agree to you, a thief. Yes, we three brothers are of one mind. You don't have to, we have a common enemy, the darkness. In the end, there is just a little misunderstanding between us. Li Bai persuaded the three of them earnestly. Misunderstanding? Li Bai, your mother, you call this a misunderstanding, you destroyed our original sin era. The old man in the middle couldn't help but get angry when he heard this, and the Dao heart chain that ran through his body kept colliding, sparks flying. Stop, stop, my ears are calloused, you have no other words to curse people. Li Bai couldn't help but pick his ears and said. If I could scold you to death, you would have been dead long ago. We would rather trade with darkness than with a bastard like you, you are so damn dark. The old man in the middle said angrily and aggrievedly. Okay, okay, I admit that I was wrong at that time and I deceived you. This time I came with a deal. Li Bai said teasingly. Get out, we don't want to listen, we don't want to listen. Oh? You really don't consider it? Get out quickly, we will never die. Before they finished speaking, Li Bai said leisurely. I am going to attack the Dark Valley. Don't you want the things in the hands of the old immortal? The words stopped abruptly, and the three old men suddenly paused. Ahem, are you sure? Don't lie to us. Of course, I wouldn't lie to you about this. Did I break my promise to attack a place? How sure are you? If it was only 50% before, it's 100% now. After Li Bai finished speaking, he took out the sealed Teishu light. Hum. Hum. Hum, hum, Li Bai, where did you steal the Teishu light, you bastard? What do you mean by stealing? You are so annoying. I worked so hard to snatch it from the hands of the heavenly Dao. Li Bai said slowly. So, you started the Emperor's Fall War just for this light. Otherwise, what do you think I did it for? Wait, something is wrong, 9 out of 10 are wrong, you knew you couldn't destroy us, then you ended the age of original sin, imprisoned us, started the Emperor's Fall War, snatched the primordial light from the heavenly Dao, and then attacked the Dark Valley to trade with us. All of this is in your plan for countless epochs. One of the old men thought of something and looked at Li Bai in disbelief. Oh, not bad, you can guess this, you are worthy of being the ruler of the age of original sin. Li Bai was not surprised by this, after all, he couldn't think of this, and he was not worthy of being the person behind the scenes who ruled the age of original sin. Li Bai, you are a humming lunatic, you started planning for all this countless epochs ago, you are not a human, Do you know that as long as there is a mistake in any link, all your previous efforts will be wasted? The old man in the middle couldn't help but roared wildly. Yes, I was betting, and the facts prove that I bet right, right. Li Bai smiled and weighed the Tehu light in his hand. Brother, big brother, slow down, don't break it, this is not a joke. An old man saw Li Bai's action, swallowed his saliva, and said hurriedly. Don't worry, this beam of light is not for you. But why did you destroy the age of original sin? Do you think that if I don't destroy you, you can trade with me? I can launch the Battle of Emperor's Fall, or I can attack the Dark Valley. So, the source is us. An old man was stunned and pointed at himself and asked. The answer is correct, but unfortunately there is no reward. Li Bai, you are not a human being, what does this have to do with us? We are not wronged. That's right. That's right, you are not a human being. But why did you spend so much effort to plan for countless eras? Don't say it's for trading with us. If that's the case, you could have told us before, maybe we can cooperate and fight against the heavenly Dao together. Even so, why don't you just imprison us? Why destroy the original sin? An old man stared at Li Bai and said slowly. What should I say? I just want an answer. As for destroying your original sin era, it was purely because I didn't like you at the time. Okay, you're not at a loss, right? If it weren't for me, your original sin would have been destroyed by darkness. Do you think it's better to fall into my hands, or the darkness? Li Bai said helplessly, not wanting to dwell too much on this topic. Hearing this, the three old people fell silent in unison. Indeed, as Li Bai said, if you fall into the hands of darkness, you will really become a slave of darkness. After all, the original sin belongs to the dark side in a sense. A few minutes later, the smiles on the faces of the three old men were as big as chrysanthemums. Oh, my dear Li Guzi, Ba, Mr. Li Bai, we are very willing to make this deal. Me too. Me too. Oh, didn't you say before that you would rather deal with darkness? Li Bai said teasingly. Ahem, dear Mr. Bai, you must have heard wrong. We and darkness are enemies, what do you think? Me too. Me too. Okay, but I want to increase it by 20%. Li Bai said quietly. What the hell do you want? I give you freedom. Oh my dear, handsome, powerful, Mr. Li, this is really great. We are deeply honored to be able to trade with a great man like you. Me too. Me too. Okay, just wait for my news. After Li Bai finished speaking, he exited the inner universe directly. At this moment, the old man in the middle is smiling like a chrysanthemum. He is so happy that he can finally get rid of the torment of Li Go's Taoist heart. God knows that the three of them have suffered a lot of grievances for so long. It is simply more unfair than Doi. Brother, you. What's wrong, second brother, are you so happy? Brother, take a look. What's up, third brother, are you too happy to speak? Immediately, the other two old men shook their heads and pointed to his chest. What the hell, why did you just say that? I just saw it too. Me too. Ah. Thief Li, I your mother, and you stole my original sin seeds again. A wave of incompetent rage resounded throughout the inner universe. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 19. At this moment, in the lower realm, in the Qingfeng sect, Li Bai suddenly appeared in the main hall. Due to the different time flow rates in the lower realm and the immortal realm, only a few minutes have passed in the lower realm now. Ah, Master, you are back. Li Sui ran to Li Bai's side in surprise, holding Li Bai's arms and shaking them constantly. Li Bai nodded slowly and silently pulled his arm out of the waves. Master, what are you doing here without taking me with you? Li Sui pouted her mouth and said aggrievedly. Haha, be good, I went to take care of a little thing for my teacher. Oh fine. Don't worry, I've checked. This guy Qingfeng is probably not dead. Immediately, Li Bai slowly said to the rest of the people. After hearing Li Bai's words, everyone immediately cheered up and said excitedly. Sir, is it true? In response, Li Bai nodded slowly. Yeah, great, our Qingfeng Holy Land will eventually return to the fairy land. Take these. After Li Bai finished speaking, he took out more than a dozen exercises and placed them in front of everyone. After the great elder picked up one of them, his breathing suddenly became rapid and he became extremely excited. Sir, this is too precious, these are sacred arts. Great elder, what is holy magic? Everyone asked curiously. In their knowledge, the highest level of skills is the human emperor level, and the higher level is the skills of the immortal world. You don't understand even if I tell you, Saint, do you know? Have no idea. That's all right, you just need to know that these are the techniques practiced in the immortal world. The great elder said excitedly. Damn it, this is a technique from the fairy world. Damn, there are more than a dozen of them, my eyes have been opened now. Sir, are these too precious? We are not blessed to enjoy them. The great elder said respectfully to Li Bai. It doesn't matter, after all, this kid Qingfeng also has an appetite for me. You should also use these pills to practice. Li Bai threw another space bracelet to the elder. After checking it out, the great elder couldn't help but exclaimed, this is so exciting. He saw that there was a mountain of pills piled up in the bracelet, and they were all holy level. What? Is the level too low? Li Bai asked doubtfully. Sir, you think too highly of us. These are holy elixirs. If we swallow a little, they will explode immediately. The great elder said with a sad face, he never thought that one day there would be too many saints, and it would become a trouble for happiness. It's just that I didn't think carefully. Li Bai nodded. Li Bai found these in the corners and kept them for who knows how long. Sir, please take it back first. The elixirs we have now are enough for us to practice. The great elder respectfully handed over the bracelet and said. Just take it, you will need it sooner or later. Well, okay, follow your orders. The great elder was crying on the outside, but grinning on the inside, wishing his mouth could reach behind his ears. However, after the excitement, they became more in awe of Li Bai's identity, and Li Bai's identity became more confusing. They all speculated that Li Bai should be the reincarnation of a certain powerful person. After all, their Qingfeng ancestor was called brat in Li Bai's mouth, which further confirmed their thoughts. At this moment, in a magnificent palace in the Dian dynasty, the four princes and the ruler of the Dian dynasty, Emperor Dian, had received the news from the spies. Father, why don't we destroy the Qingfeng sect directly? Even if they have people in the Tongtian realm, they are only one and there is nothing to fear. Besides, the other party must have used some secret treasure, otherwise how could he kill everyone with one move? The second prince said swornly. No, Qingfeng sect is not as simple as we thought. Emperor Dian frowned, sat on the dragon throne and spoke slowly. But it's really strange. Why did this person suddenly appear in Qingfeng sect? It's obviously just a weak sect that can't be any weaker. The eldest prince said doubtfully. Brother, in my opinion, Qingfeng sect has asked for help from the outside world. The third prince said slowly beside him. Help? Who can I turn to for help? The Four Saints sect? But the Four Saints sect doesn't have this person. Father, Why do you insist on asking the Qingfeng sect to surrender to us? According to the power of our great Yan dynasty, we don't even bother to have more or less Qingfeng sect. The fourth prince asked in confusion. You don't understand. Do you really think that I am doing this for the Qingfeng sect? I'm here for a secret of the Qingfeng sect. Emperor Dian sighed and said slowly. Secret. Qingfeng sect, it used to be a force in the immortal world. Immediately, Emperor Dian slowly told the secret to the four princes. When hearing this sentence, the four princes were obviously stunned for a moment and did not believe it at all. Father, please stop joking. Yes, Father, if the Qingfeng sect is really a force in the fairy world, how could it be so weak? Besides, how could a force in the fairy world come to such a remote place? You guys know nothing. The Qingfeng sect was originally destined to be the Qingfeng Holy Land. It was once one of the top 10 holy places in the immortal world. The ancestor of our Dian dynasty was saved by the people of the Qingfeng Holy Land. These words were told to me by the ancestor himself. Do you think the ancestor would lie to us? Emperor Dian said slowly. This. The princes fell into silence for a moment. They didn't expect that the Qingfeng sect had such a big background. Father, so, is that man in white clothes from Qingfeng Holy Land, or someone who came down from the immortal realm? No, because Qingfeng Holy Land has perished in the fairy world. Emperor Dian shook his head and said. Ah, in that case, what are we afraid of, Father? Stupid, do you think that in a holy place, there is no way to save one's life? Even if the Qingfeng sect is in such a state of decline now, it was once a holy place in the fairy world. Don't you understand that a skinny camel is bigger than a horse? The eldest prince scolded the second prince harshly. Your Majesty, what are you thinking now? Emperor Dian stared at the eldest prince and asked slowly. Among these princes, the one he liked the most was the eldest prince, not only for his talent and character, but also for his composure. Father, you must have taken a fancy to the Qingfeng sect's skills. After all, its predecessor was the Holy Land. The eldest prince cupped his hands and said. That's right. In that case, the man in white is the man in front of us now. As long as we can really test his strength, that's all. Oh, tell me. We can let some puppet sects go test it out first. At this moment, the void in the hall continued to tremble and shatter. After a burst of light, the void was torn apart, and the raging wind of the void kept pouring out. Then, a group of people slowly appeared in the hall. One man and two women, dressed in extremely gorgeous and brilliant clothes, and behind them there is an old man in grey robes. Huh, the air in the lower world is really unpleasant. The concentration of spiritual energy is really low. The man frowned and said in disgust. Who are you and why do you appear in the palace of our great Yan dynasty? Emperor Dian said sternly. Dynasty? A mere ant dares to call himself a dynasty. You're looking for death, yellow dragon battle body, sky-breaking dragon fist. The second prince shouted sharply, directly bursting into the realm of his own divine veins, punching towards the man, and faintly heard the roar of a dragon in the fist. Ants, don't know whether to live or die. The man glanced at the second prince and pointed out a finger. In an instant, a flower of blood spattered and the second prince fell to the ground, hanging with only one breath left. With just one finger, the second prince in the divine vein realm was beaten to death. You. When Emperor Dian saw this scene, your eyes were splitting. Just as you were about to take action, you were stopped by the eldest prince. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 20. Sir, you are also from the immortal world after all. Isn't this a bit inappropriate? The eldest prince stared at the few people and said calmly. He seemed calm on the surface, but in fact he was extremely worried inside. Fairy world. People from the fairy world. After hearing these words, Emperor Dian and the remaining princes were stunned, and then broke out in cold sweat, especially Emperor Dian. Fortunately, he was stopped just now and almost died. "Oh, I didn't expect that you could recognize us as people from the immortal world. Sir, if you have any questions, please give us your instructions. We will definitely tell you everything you know, and we will tell you everything." The eldest prince said respectfully. "Yes, you are quite knowledgeable. Let me introduce myself. My name is Yalu." Later, during the chat, the princes learned that several of them were followers of a divine son of the Ye family in the immortal world. To put it bluntly, they were slaves of the divine son of the Ye family. This time, they were looking for someone in the lower world. "Master Ye, I wonder who you are looking for," Emperor Dian said respectfully to Yalu, who was sitting on the dragon throne. After learning that several people were from the immortal world, he was extremely attentive. After all, they were members of a big family in the immortal world. Although he did not know how powerful this family was, but after all, it is a family in the fairy world. If you can get some benefits from your hands, then take off. It's very simple, help me find someone. That's right, Yalu went down to the lower world right now just to look for Li Bai. After the emperor of the Ye family was deprived of any opportunity that day, the elder Ye family used the Eye of Fate and followed the red line of opportunity to find the direction. That's why we sent people to the lower realm to find Li Bai to regain the opportunity. Emperor Dian and the other princes, on the other hand, were full of doubts. Who needs the immortal domain master to go down to the realm in person? Sir, there is nothing without us. Haha, this person should be easy to find. First of all, you should be younger. The second point is that the strength of someone who has suddenly risen in recent times is not in line with common sense. Yalu said slowly. Don't worry, sir, we will definitely try our best to find you. Okay, check it out as soon as possible, this matter is very important. Yalu frowned and said. You found it, crush it, and contact me immediately. In addition, this elixir will be regarded as a reward from me. Rescue that ant as soon as possible. After Yalu finished speaking, he threw down a jade pendant and elixir, and then disappeared into the void with a few people. Upon seeing this, the third prince immediately fed the elixir into the mouth of the dying fourth prince. After a few minutes, the second prince's breathing gradually stabilized and his injuries had healed. Great, second brother is fine. As expected of the elixir of the immortal world, it is simply the bones of the living dead. Brother, don't you think that the person I just mentioned is a good match for the Qingfeng sect? He is also extremely young and has such unfathomable strength. The third prince asked doubtfully. Yes, why didn't the emperor say it just now? If you think about it carefully, do you think it's easy for people from the immortal world family to track this person down in person? The eldest prince said slowly with a glint in his eyes. Are you saying that the man in white is from the fairy world? This probability is very high, haha, it's a pity, that Yalu is too lazy. If he had just gone to other sects and asked, he might have really found it. Unfortunately, he didn't. This gives us an opportunity to operate. Space. The eldest prince exuded a strong aura of violence. Brother, what do you mean? Yalu must die, and fourth brother's injury cannot be in vain. The eldest prince said viciously. Your Majesty, what do you think? Let's go step by step and test the strength of the man in white. If he can kill Yalu, what if we regard him as the national master? On the other side, the matter about Li Bai quickly spread among the top sects. Within the Four Saints sect. I didn't expect that the little Qingfeng sect could be so powerful. Yeah, it seems we have to pay a visit and test it out by the way. The saint said that she would go and see for herself. After all, we had a good relationship with the Qingfeng sect a long time ago, and this time we don't have help, so the other party must have a lot of complaints. Haha, is this necessary? Qingfeng sect is no longer the Qingfeng Holy Land before. At this time, in another cave paradise, a young woman was teasing a little yellow dog. The woman's name is Luo Miao Miao, she is the saint of the Four Saints sect and the only saint. She knows everything in the entire Dian dynasty, not only because of her strength, but also because of her appearance. She is like a pearl, full of beauty, incomparable beauty, exquisite beauty, almost perfect appearance, with 3,000 green silk draped behind her, an emerald green smoked gauze flower skirt, tightly wrapped around her jade legs as white as ivory. It is unimaginable that this is a woman from the lower world. It is not an exaggeration to say that she is a saint from the fairy world. Rhubarb, you are so delicious, and you have gained a lot of weight recently. Luo Miao Miao kept touching De Wang's dog's head and squeezing the dog's face, while De Wang had a look of enjoyment on his face. Yes, this De Wang is the dog emperor, but there was a little accident along the way, so now he can't transform. Tisk tisk, this little sister is really good. When I find the owner, I will repay her well and give her the title of dog concubine. De Wang was thinking quietly in his heart, but he didn't notice that the tears were flowing down his face. 1 month later, it was the day that the Four Saints sect visited the Qingfeng sect. This month, Li Bai was quite leisurely. While enjoying Li Sui's massage, he went to talk to the 3 old men in the inner universe. However, this time, Li Bai was scolded badly. However, what Li Bai didn't know was that the ancient dragon clan was almost mad in this month, because no matter how they looked, they couldn't find a trace of the murderer who slaughtered Zhentian Dragon Emperor. It was like he disappeared out of thin air without any causal line. This is simply outrageous. You must know that everyone has a causal line. No matter what you do, there will always be some clues left. Of course, this is not the case for Li Bai. He himself has no causal line, as if he is a person who does not exist in the heavens and the worlds. This month, the Qingfeng sect has also changed a lot. First, under the guidance of Li Bai, the elder broke through 2 realms in a row, successfully breaking through the Tongtian realm and the Shenhua realm, and came to the Nirvana realm, which is the strongest realm under the realm of the void. It can be said that the current Qingfeng sect can dominate the lower world with just the Grand Elder. As long as the ancestor of the Great Yan dynasty does not appear in the world, they can share the same power.